I don't think my last video made much sense, so I'm going to try and explain it better for anyone watching, although I doubt anybody is watching. But my name's Franco. I'm a 23-year-old trans person living in the south of England, and a few days ago I had my first Trans Plus appointment, and it went exactly how I thought it was going to. Basically 2 hours of talking to a nurse who seemed really nice and helpful and respectful and everything like that, as they should be. And you know, it's really nice guy. And now my second appointment is the 15th of December, so not that long to wait at all. And really, it's been 5 years since I was referred to Tavistock, but because everything's messed up with that, Trans Plus took over some of the referrals, and well, I was one of them who they took from the waiting list because I'd been waiting so long. And finally it's happening for me to be able to get what I want and what I need to have. And anyone who says trans people don't need this, they absolutely do. And that Prime Minister of England seriously needs to stop saying what he's been saying, because it's not true, not in any way, shape or form. But something about being referred to this place, I can start actually being me and not having a 12-year-old's voice, which is what I currently have. I think I might go with the injections for hormones and testosterone. So I try my best in trying to explain everything. I don't know what they're doing behind me, probably something with water or something. But September 23rd this year, I got a phone call from Trans Plus basically saying I'm going to be transferred to them from Tavistock and Portman in London. And I'll try and put the emails on screen so you can see them, and if you want to read them fully, then try and pause the video so you can obviously read them. And then the 25th of October I got another phone call basically asking questions. Some person at Trans Plus was just asking me questions and getting general information from me, and they wanted to give me a consent form to give to my GP to fill out, to give some general information to Trans Plus, and they needed that before giving me a first appointment or any appointments at Trans Plus. And the GP actually did it, and I'm so surprised that they did, because it takes years. Feels like it takes forever for my GP to do anything at all. And then a few weeks after that I got another phone call saying that I could have my first appointment at Trans Plus. And there's a shop here in Reading, it's a vintage shop, and I was in that shop looking at stuff, not buying anything, and I was just looking, got the phone call, had to walk out the shop, and then they gave me the first appointment, which was a few days ago. And put the phone down, and I was genuinely stood there in the middle of town centre just crying so much, because this means so much to me, to be able to transition and be me and everything like that. So yeah. And realistically, I wasn't going to say no and reject the appointment, but the first one that they came to me with was last week on Tuesday at 9 a.m. and I really was not going to try to get to London for 9 a.m. when I haven't been to London since 2016 and it's 9 a.m. so the train will be more expensive. I haven't got a lot of money and I just don't know how they think some people can pay for the train and get there for 9. So I asked them for a later appointment and they came back with last week on Thursday at 2 p.m. and I immediately said yes to that one. And yeah, unfortunately one of my parents went with me, which was not good at all. And I know you don't know me or my family or my parents, but they're not supportive of this at all, and it was because of them that I had to stop going to the Tavistock when I was younger. And when I was younger, I was diagnosed with gender dysphoria when I was like 11 or 12. And then not long after that, my parents refused to let me go to it. And hopefully that was the only time that one of my parents will go with me. Really did not want them to go, but unfortunately they did. Thankfully they weren't in the appointment with me. It was just me with the nurse. So yeah, hopefully the next time, no parent, just me. Just looking at my calendar, I've just realised that it was realistically from first contact until first appointment with Trans Plus, it was about 8 weeks. And I'd been on the waiting list for Tavistock Hospital since 2018 and I had no contact whatsoever from that hospital. And now I've been transferred to another place. It's 8 weeks. Like, how can they seriously not do this for people who need medical attention? Like, I don't get it. Something has to change. Something needs to change. People need to know who they are, have a diagnosis, and if that requires anything medical, then they need to have that done, realistically. And I just can't believe in any way that I'm actually being able to start something to actually be who I am. And I genuinely didn't think that this would happen and anything like that, and I'm just finally gonna actually be who I am out in the world rather than having to hide constantly. Yeah, I might be repeating myself a little bit, but I'm trying to just get through this and do it. But it was about the appointment the other week, it was about £30 for a train ticket, so it was a lot less than what I thought it would be. I thought I'd be spending about £100 Reading to Tottenham Court Road in London, and I got there about an hour before the appointment, so about 1 I got there, and it was a good thing I did get there before, because the people, there's so many people in London, is unbelievable. It's probably at least 5 times the amount of people that's here in Reading, and they're so, the people are just trying to get to where they're going, not looking or paying attention to where they're going or anything. And thankfully I actually found the Trans Plus building quite quickly. It's on Dean Street. I'll try and put a picture on screen and everything. But the train I got on was the Elizabeth line, and it went Reading to Tottenham Court Road with a few stops in between and a few stops after, and it was so clean and tidy, and you couldn't get basically a nicer train in a way. I'm not one of those train spotters, by the way, but just a clean, tidy train is what I'm not used to. Reading is Reading. If you come here, it's dirty as hell, and I'm not lying. I am really annoyed because I saw Ronnie Scott's Jazz Club, always wanted to go there, always wanted to see the building, but I didn't get a picture of it, and I'm so annoyed about that. Eventually I'll be able to go in and see a show. But yeah, I might be repeating myself, which I think I've already said before, but the whole appointment was 2 hours, and I was just talking to a nurse about me and my life and my upbringing, with things like how and why I thought I was trans and how I knew I was as well. And it just went exactly how I expected it to go, just a conversation really. And yeah, so my next appointment in December, it's going to be with a different nurse, I think, and a doctor, like a psychologist. I think that's what they said the doctor was. So I will absolutely be sure to take pictures, maybe videos, I'm not sure. But generally, hopefully all of this will go through with no problems or disruptions like what happened last time when I was about 12, which is actually about 10 years ago, because I'm 23 now. I was diagnosed when I was 11 or 12, and that was 10 years ago. Like 10 years from first diagnosis to starting the process again of transitioning and going through it is mad. You wouldn't get this for any other medical thing or medical diagnosis. You just wouldn't at all. You wouldn't expect a dyslexic person to wait this long for a diagnosis. What I'm absolutely going to do at that Trans Plus appointment on the 15th of December is I'm definitely going to have a walk round. I think the appointment's at 10 or 11 in the morning, which I don't mind. And I think it might be 2 hours again, which isn't bad. And then I think Dean Street is right next to Chinatown. I think it's Soho in London, so I'm just definitely going to have a little walk round. Not use any of my data 4G before the 15th of December. Get to London. I'll get to London maybe an hour before the appointment. Have a little sit down somewhere, maybe have a coffee or something. Go to the appointment, do it, and then get out of the appointment and then find somewhere to have food and definitely have a look round. I'm not going to go far away from the station, but yeah. Definitely not gonna go miles away, but let's just see what happens, really.